Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Happy Tuesday. It's Ready, Steady, Craft. And we have a slightly different one today. As you can see, I've got this monstrosity in front of me I don't usually have. And we're replacing Natalie this week as well with the lovely Emma Jewell. So we're talking about electronic cutting machines. Now, you don't have to have one to watch this show, of course. You can just be thinking about one, be wondering what they do, maybe, whatever it is. Maybe you do have one. Maybe you'd like some advice, and we're here for that as much as we can. Emma is the everything Cricut expert, so she can answer, I'd imagine, nearly every question that you have on any Cricut machine. Maybe you're thinking which one is right for you. Maybe you're wondering how to do a particular technique on the machine that you've got. I'm sure Emma will do her best to answer your questions. I'm going to be working with the machine that I've had for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, I think. I think it must be at least 3 years, actually. And it's the Brother Scan and Cut. So this is one that I brush the dust off about once every 6 months, probably. Don't use it very often because you all know I love my dice, so I am way out of my comfort zone today, but it's going to be really good fun because we've decided to set a theme as well, just to really test ourselves, and the theme is 3D cards. So essentially myself and Emma, which we're going to go and say hello to in a moment, or who we're going to go and say hello to in a moment, are both going to try and do something using our machines as the main focus. And really it's just a chat and relax, and yeah, a chat about electronic cutting machines and how you can use them in your crafting. So let's go and say hello to lovely Emma Jewell. Hi Emma, how are you?
Hello, I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. I love your craft area. I love all your storage. That box is amazing.
Thank you. It just shows off how much of a craft hoarder I am though, but
Aren't we all though? Aren't we all? We've got lots of people commenting. So we've got Carla says hello, Emma. Natalie said she'll be back soon, so Natalie's watching as well. We've got Maureen York is watching, Rainey Atkins is watching as well. Hello, Carla did say hello to myself as well. Sorry, I missed that one. Hello. Elaine Jasper said hello to Lou and Emma. Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting hour, Emma. You've not done Ready Steady Craft with us before.
No, I haven't.
I'm really excited, but I'm also very nervous, and I'm not usually too nervous, so we'll see how this goes. I'm sitting here thinking, did I remember my power cable? Did I remember my cardstock? I nearly left home without my mat because my machine doesn't live in the studio. It usually lives at home, so I've probably forgotten something essential I need. I know I changed the blade on it recently, but what are you going to be doing, or what machine are you going to be using first of all?
Yep, I'm going to be using the Cricut Maker today. So this one is, I like to think of it as like the mum of the craft, the Cricut family. If you want a machine that does everything, the Cricut Maker is going to be the one for you. So it can cut over 300 different material types, so whether that be paper and card or all of your fabrics, also going on to thicker materials too, leathers. All sorts of different materials are covered by this one, and it's got an interchangeable tool system, which I'll show you a bit of today, which means we can switch in different tools like scoring tools, all sorts of different tools and blades, so that we can interchange our machine depending on what type of project we're making.
Awesome, fantastic. So when I threw at you, I think it was somewhere in an email chain, oh, by the way, we're doing 3D cards. Are you good with that? Are you happy and comfortable with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Although I had that panic of like, oh, what should I do? Too many ideas.
Yeah, I'm glad you've got too many ideas. You might need to bat some of them over here because I'm a little bit sort of, I have one idea and I'll explain why in a moment. Shall I, you're all set up, we don't need to do cameras. Do you want to go ahead and do you want to get started and talk everyone through like the beginning process? Because what we're going to do, I'll just explain to everyone actually just for a second how we're going to work this hour, rather than having the two halves on the screen as we usually have. So because we've got the machines, there's a lot to see. It's really hard to squeeze that into the sort of 6-inch area that I usually make Natalie work in for the hour. So we decided we're going to have it like this, and I'm just going to switch between the screens, kind of 5 minutes with each person back to back. So what we're going to do is go to Emma first. She can talk about what she's going to make, how she's going to get started if you're a complete beginner, using your machine for the first time, how she's got graphics or images, whatever, loaded onto her machine, things like that, and then get started cutting. And then you'll come to me and I'll do the same with my machine. So then we'll go to the half and half. We can chat while things are cutting out and whatnot. So Emma, if you're all happy with that, then I'll just let you go on, and I'll just butt in with comments now and then if I keep an eye on the comments while you're chatting away, and vice versa, I guess.
Yeah, fab. Let's do it.
Awesome. You're on then. It's all down to you.
Okay, cool. So to start off with, I've already got up my design on Cricut Design Space. This is the design app that we use to power our Cricut machines to tell them what we want to cut. And you can use this on your computer or laptop, or you could download it as an app to a smartphone or tablet. So they're the same program, it just depends where you want to use it. I'm actually going to use a pre-made project from the Cricut Projects library, and then I've just tweaked it slightly and personalised it just for today to make it a bit more fun. Which is something I really love about Cricut Design Space. If you are a bit stuck for ideas, or if you are a beginner, you've got a massive project library full of hundreds of projects that you can customize, or just cut them as they're made to, and you can just get going, which is quite nice.
Awesome.
Like I say, I've edited this one slightly. I'm going to be using a few tools. So of course I'm going to cut with my machine. Of course, that's one of the main things the Maker can do. I'm also going to score. So there's a few add-on tools like I talked about before that can switch into what we call the adaptive tool system. And this is here. And it basically means that we can switch in these different tools, like a scoring tool that I've got here. There's also lots of other ones like a knife blade, perforation tool, all of these fancy things, engraving, that you can switch in, you can add onto your machine so that you can, do whatever projects you like. So I'm going to be using the scoring tool. And then I'm also going to use a pen as well. So the machine can also write or draw for us as well as cut.
Cool.
So I'm going to use the pen to write a sentiment on my card. So we've got that part as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So I'm all set up and ready to go. All I need to do now is tell the machine what type of material I'm cutting. So the first thing I'm going to cut is a glitter card. I'm going to cut and score that. So I just need to choose glitter cardstock on my machine. Nice and simple. There aren't any settings or numbers or anything like that I need to adjust. Mm-hmm. I just find the exact type of material that I'm cutting. So in this case, glitter cardstock.
Great.
And select.
Easy peasy. And do you have a mat you have to use with that?
I do indeed. There are a few different colours of mat. There's light blue, which is for your papers, your thinner materials, green, which is what I'm going to use today, which is, your medium stickiness to hold slightly thicker card and things in place. And then there's also an even stronger one, which is purple, and one especially for fabric, which is pink. Green is my favourite, so I'm going to use green today because I like it that it covers lots of materials and it holds things like glitter card in place nicely. And that's just got an adhesive on it, so it's going to hold everything in place whilst it goes through the machine, keeps it nice and flat whilst it cuts.
Awesome. I've got a couple of questions. Oh, so Elaine Jasper has asked two things. She's asked, firstly, can you create in Design Space without being connected to a Cricut machine? So can you have a play before?
Yeah, exactly. You totally can. It's free to download, and you can do that before you've even bought a machine. So you can have a play. The software itself is totally free to use, regardless of whether you've got a machine or not. So you can, have a play, start designing, so that when your machine arrives, you're ready to go. Or
fantastic.
if you just want to kind of get a feel before you make the purchase, you can do that too. Yeah,
because it can get quite overwhelming, can't it? A new machine and a new program to start using all at once. So yeah, if you can get to grips with it, brilliant. But she also asked, does the mat have to go in a certain way?
No, it can go in both ways. So it does have a little, what looks like an arrow, but it's just where you hang it up. But it can also go in that way as well.
Okay, so, there we go. And Natalie, I don't know who Natalie is, but some Natalie is commenting. She really wants to learn to use let me spit this out a little bit clearer. She really wants to learn how to cut vinyl for clothing. I can imagine Nat actually personalising clothing. That'd be awesome. So is that really quite simple?
Yeah, absolutely. We call it iron-on vinyl. Really easy to cut out. You just have to remember to mirror your design, because you cut into the back of the material, pop it on the mat, cut it, and then you apply it with heat. So whether that's an iron or a heat press, and then it's on there and you can wash it and wear it out and look fabulous.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, have you got anything else to show us before you start actually cutting?
I will just show you how I pop in that scoring tool, actually, if I can find it. Oh, it's got stuck. There it is. So I'm going to pop that in first. So I'm just going to open up this clamp, take out the fine point blades. That's the one that comes in your machine that you use to cut most materials.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to pop in the scoring wheel. So pop that in there and just close the clamp like a little hug around it, so it keeps it nice and safe.
Okay.
And then we're ready, and we're ready to start cutting.
That looked pretty easy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all we've got to do is press the button that's flashing. So I'm going to load. And then once it's ready, I can press the go button and off it goes.
Great. So how does it know what it's going to cut now? So you've got this image or design or whatever on your computer, presumably.
Yes.
How does it jump over?
Yeah. So it can, on my screen, I'm sorry I can't show you this to you.
No, it's fine.
I can see the individual mats for the different pieces, colours of material that I've got to load. Mm-hmm. So I've selected the first one. So that's what's going to be cut. It's working via Bluetooth right now, so I haven't got any cable or anything. It's just sending it magically to the machine. Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic. Okay, if you're happy to start cutting that, then I can do a little overview of what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do anyway. I'm really nervous about this. I actually spoke to Natalie this morning and said, I don't know about this one. So yeah, Brother Scan and Cut is one that's been on the market, I don't know, quite a few years now. And there are lots of different models. I'm using the CM900. At the time when I bought this, this was the top one, but I believe it was called the DX, I think it was, came out after that. And the DX, I think, is the one that has the blade that will sort of recognise your materials and adjust the blade. Whereas with this one, we have to change the blade, so we put it up and down depending on the thickness or the depth of the cut that you need. So a bit like the Cricut, we've got a holder here for the blade, and I've got a screen here that I can work from, and I can work on what's called Brother the Canvas. So that's the name of the program. And you can design your things. You can take images that are already loaded into Canvas, and you can then send them via Bluetooth, via the wireless. It's not Bluetooth, it's wireless. So you connect to your home internet by this, connect to your home internet on your computer, and then that will pick up the images when you send them over to the machine. And I believe I think you can use Canvas. You can have a play with Canvas as well without having the machine, but they do ask you to register a machine, of course, before you can put anything onto it. So with mine, what I've done is kept it really simple. I've got the same as Emma, so a lot of these machines you'll find are very similar. So I've got a mat here. This is actually a generic mat, so it's not the one that came with the machine, because they tend to lose their tackiness really quickly. And because I don't use mine very often, I've gone and bought a less expensive sticky mat from a website that you can get lots and lots and lots of different things off that isn't just craft things. So and you can buy sticky mats as well from Craft Stash, so they do different tacks of mats on there too. So the same with this mat, it can go in either way. It's got the arrows, you feed it into the machine, and then on the screen you simply do cut or draw. There is a pen option, but you do need a pen holder and the right pens to go in it as well. So I've taken an image from inside the canvas. I have chosen them and sent them over to my machine already. I had to do that while I was at home because I needed the home internet. This machine, I didn't want to have to set it up to the internet here to do it here live for you. I believe Emma's in her house, so nice and easy for her. So with this one, it'll be interesting to know actually. See, I've got a microphone on my chest and I think this might be quite noisy, so I might actually I might have to move the machine away after a little while. I've got the sticky on here at the moment, so I need to put my paper on, the same as you did, Emma. And I guess you burnish yours down, Emma, do you, when you put yours on?
Yeah, I do. Get a bit of good going over. Sometimes use the Brayer. We've got a Brayer tool that we can use as well. It's like a roller that you can make sure it's all well stuck down as well.
A roller you use.
Yeah. That's its technical name.
So I'm just going to do this. I've come back to you, Emma, because I'm just going to do the same as you. I'm just going to start feeding my mat into the machine and using the images that I've already loaded. So have you already cut something now?
I have indeed. So I've cut this piece. So this is kind of the net of my, so this is going to be like a camera. With the sentiment kind of coming out of it. So this is the main part of the camera. I know you won't be able to see the score lines on there, but they are there. So if I just carefully bend them, you can see you get that nice pigment on there, which is really lovely. I'm going to load the just a plain piece of white card next, and I'm going to use the pen to draw my sentiment. So the machine's going to write for me as well, and it will also score and cut this bit out too. So let's load this in. I'll just change my setting to medium cardstock because I'm not using the glitter card anymore. So that's done the settings for me. I'll load that into the machine. So now we're going to pop the pen in. I will just double check the pen's flowing nicely. Yeah. And that goes in this port on this side. So this is the A for accessories port. So we open that one up, pop our pen in, push it down until it clicks, and then close it up. And I'm going to put my scoring tool back in. So while I wasn't watching you there, I did a bit of cutting, but I'll start again with the scoring tool. Okay. And let's click go on that. So it will, I think it will draw first, but it might score. No, it's going to score first, and then it will draw for us. It also double checks that you've got the correct tool in, so that's what it was doing there. So if I had loaded a different tool, I've got myself in a muddle, it would have stopped me there and got me to change to the right thing. So that was really handy. Nice.
So I'm now going to start cutting on my machine. I don't know how noisy it's going to be, so please do let us know in the comments. Anne has said, any ideas for using the perforation blade? Do you know what that perforation blade is?
That's one of my favourites actually, and I don't think enough people talk about it. But it's really cool. I love using it for advent calendars, so it gives that like terrible dotted line, you know, that you get on like ticket stubs, on advent calendar doors, so I love using it for that. Also, it is great for making, you know, little tickets for maybe like a little treat book if you're giving someone, you know, like free hugs or massages or whatever, I don't know. It's quite nice to tear away. It's really cool for like reveal cards, so perhaps like a gender reveal card where you've got, you know, the gender underneath and then you want something that can peel back. That's quite nice. So just a little surprise. So yeah, it's a really great tool for that.
Awesome, awesome. I'm kind of hugging my microphone at the minute, hoping that it's not too noisy for everyone. So Natalie has said she needs the pen function on hers to be able to write all her cards. She also said, can you? I suppose you can't hear me, Emma, can you?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Oh, you can? Okay, that's good. She also said she's got a Cricut and not used it, never used it. So, you know, slap on the wrist for her.
That breaks my heart.
I know, exactly what you mean. Yeah, so Elaine Jasper said, oh, the perforation blade sounds awesome and great for reveal cards. Yeah, so mind that noise. You can probably hear the jumping at the moment. I guess this is the equivalent to a Cricut of using a perforation blade on the scan and cut, it's actually just cutting lots and lots of little lines. I don't know how well it's going to work. We shall find out. But this is more like a score line then, because we don't have a scoring tool the way that Cricut does. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be all right. But I've just literally found a shadow box card project in the Canvas workspace, and I'm following that, so nothing too radical today. I might add a little bit of my own embellishments to it afterwards, but we'll see. But I'm just in the first of, I think, 4 different cuts, so fingers crossed it'll be okay. Do you know what I'll do? I'm going to come to, if I can get my mouse working, I'm going to come to both of us so people can see we're both still here. So we've both got our machines working away. How is the sound, everybody? Oh, Carla said she can hear us fine. I was just worried about you not being able to hear Emma, to be honest, over the noise of my machine. Carol Lewis has just joined us as well. Hello. She says sorry she's late. I love when you apologise for being late, but please don't apologise. We just love that you're here. A lot of people are at work at the moment, so they often catch up in the evening. So Natalie has said she thinks her machine needs to sit on her desk 24/7 so that she remembers to use it. Yes, do that. You may get distracted though, because you see projects and ideas and then think, well, it's here, I'll do it now.
Yeah, definitely. Although I found before I had mine out on my desk, way back when I first got my machine, I didn't use it as much. So I definitely recommend that, having it out.
Yes.
And then you think about it, and then you get going with it a bit quicker.
Absolutely. So mine's now finished the first layer, so I just released the mat. And it's has it cut through? I do actually, if I'm doing anything where I desperately need to make sure it cuts through really well, I'll lower the blade ever so slightly. On a scan and cut, it's simply releasing, and it's a twist, so it's like righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but you're twisting the cartridge so that it will go deeper and shallower, I guess. But you've got numbers on there, and I mean, I've just cut this at a number 8, and that's probably, I think usually it's about a 5 or 6 for cardstock, but I'm just being overcautious because the last thing I want to do is have to recut anything for you while we're live. There was a question actually, I believe. I'm just going to go back a little way because I saw a question for Emma. Any advice about cutting settings on the Maker regarding 3mm grey board?
If you've got the Maker, you'll want to have the knife blade for that. So that's it looks more like the blade of like a craft knife, or like a pen knife kind of blade. So it's much bigger. And what it will do is do multiple passes. But look for the matte board setting. I think that's the American name for it. Or chipboard. That's the setting you want to look for that. And just make sure that you move your, these we call the white star wheels here. For your thicker materials, 3mm upwards. No, not 3mm upwards. Your thicker materials, you want to just move those across so that you've got room to get the thicker material under the roller, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then they won't damage the material.
Lovely. I have one piece. Woohoo! I have more to make, but I have one piece. I'm very excited about that one piece. So I'm going to look now at which of the images I'm going to cut next. So I can go back to my patterns, and they're on my saved data. It's all really, I don't know about yours, Emma, but I find mine's really quite self-explanatory on the actual machine, in the workspace as well. Now we've had the major question who asked, I knew it was here somewhere, Perry has asked, which is better, the Cricut or the scan and cut? So I can't, yes. It's for you to decide. Everyone will have different machines. I've got this because at the time I was working for a company who focused on scan and cut with Brother. Emma obviously works for Cricut, so she has a lot of experience, so I'm sure she adores Cricut. I have personally never used a Cricut machine. I would love to though, because I feel with the Cricut you've got a lot more options. I may be wrong. That's just the sort of impression that I'm starting to get by watching Emma over the last year or so, me only having the one machine to compare it to though. But I use these very little, so Hello to Ella, she's late as well. Don't worry about being late. Let me see, I did see another question. Here, so Carla has said, do you think it takes the fun of doing it yourself away from crafting? No, I don't think so, because as you'll see when I'm doing mine, if I actually get on and actually do something rather than talking, you can still go in and you can do all your inking, you can do add your embellishments, you can still do stamping, you can add die cutting on top of what you're making, but I think with the electronic machines you've then got the added advantage, and correct me if I'm wrong, Emma, but of cutting lots more materials than your dies cut, so you've got the option of both. I think it's just a really nice, it's a nice addition to a craft room, but it is always a considered purchase, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I would say for me it just opened up more doors, and for those big, I'm a lazy crafter, let's be honest.
Lazy
so
crafter.
I have wild ideas and then I realise how long it might take me, and then I don't bother making it, which I know is awful. But this means I can do those big, massive projects, you know, or I can just whip something up quickly that I just wouldn't have got round to before, because it can be doing the cutting bit whilst I'm busy doing something else. And then at the end, I can do the crafty bit of putting it all together. I can still completely design my projects from the beginning. So it only really takes what I think is the, you know, the long bit in the middle, the cutting out and getting everything precise. That section is, you know, much more condensed for me. And it means I can do multiples of things. You know, I can make things more perfect, as exact. And I like that I've got the difference in, you know, I don't like when I buy a die and it's over mixed round. But when I'm working with this, you know, I can make the same design on a t-shirt, and I can do it small on a card, you know, I've got that kind of freedom to do different projects, the same design.
So I suppose if you think about it, if you buy a die set at £20 and you have, say, 20 dies in there, it's £1 a design. But if you, I mean, I know there's a lot of free SVGs out there. I mean, you could probably go your whole crafting life with never having to buy an SVG ever once you've got the machine. But if you were to say, well, one pattern is £1, but you can make that into about 200 different sizes. So, you know, I feel you probably are getting, and cut it from lots of different materials, so materials that a die and a die cutting machine wouldn't get through. So I think that way you really are extending, you know, what you can do with each shape that you purchase. We've got a lot of machine noises going on, so I apologise to everyone's trying to listen. One thing I have to say about the scan and cut, which is, I'm not sure whether you can do it on the Cricut, Emma. I think you can, but it's probably a completely different process. So the idea with the scan and cut is that it can scan your images and then cut them out. So if you've got stamped images that are, I don't know whether it's my phone or whether we're losing, I think we might be losing the signal a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I'm recording this anyway if we need to use that. But if you stamp lots of images and then want to cut them out fussy cut, you can just do it on the machine. So in this one, I would just stick them all to my mat, scan it, set it to cut out with a slight offset, a slight outline, run it back through and cut them out, and great, all done. So I assume, Emma, there's something on the Cricut that can be that's very similar?
Similar, maybe not as easy for stamp designs. We have something called print then cut, where we can print out a design to our printer and then cut around it. There is a way to pop something on your mat and cut around it, but it's maybe not as exact. So that's probably the one place where I'd say the Brother Scan and Cut does slightly you know, win in that area, is that it's got that ability to do that within the actual machine, whereas we would, you know, take a picture or scan in the artwork and then add it into the Cricut Space thing. So it is doable, but it's maybe just not quite as straightforward, that section, as the scan and cut would be able to do it. But of course, that's what the scan and cut is called, so that is kind of, I suppose, primary. thing.
Yeah, that is the main job. It was to scan images in, or whatever it may be. Digistamps, yeah. Someone just said about digistamps. Yeah, you can scan them in or whatever. Can you take on the Cricut? Can you take a digital image, send it over to the Cricut and do it that way?
Yep, so you can upload any image. It could be a photo you've taken of something, or an SVG you've bought from somewhere else, or whatever you like. You can upload that and cut it again, whatever size with whatever material. So you've got that freedom. You're not stuck to only the images in the library or anything like that.
Brilliant. How many Cricut machines are there, Emma?
Should I count how many are in my room?
No, just how. Well, yeah. Is that the same answer?
Too many, probably. So we've got Cricut Joy, which is behind me. That's the smallest of the machines, so great for carrying around. Great for card makers as well. Great for long cuts, kind of round the house crafting. That's Cricut Joy. Then we've got the Explore Air 2, which is the model below this one.
Right.
That's a great machine for paper, card, also vinyl and iron-on vinyl, so it's perfect for those. Then the Maker, which, like I said, has all those extra add-on blades, so that's the step up from the Explore. It's a lot stronger. Then we have two new machines in our Cricut family that came out, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Those are Explore 3 and the Maker 3. So they're both a step up from their counterparts, the Explore Air 2 and the Maker. They can cut 2 times faster. And they can cut without a mat using smart materials, which means they can cut up to 12 foot long of vinyl.
12 foot?
Yes, so if you want to see the side of a bus, you're ready to go.
If you want to. Now, Emma, I know you've got a show with us on the Friday the 2nd of July, so that will be at 12:30 over on Craft Stash, and Emma's going to be running through those 2 new machines for us. You never know, we may have some sort of offers on them, who knows, but definitely join us for that, because that will be all focusing on Emma, and we can see exactly how she uses these machines, what the difference is. You're not using the new one today, are you? It's
no, just using the Maker.
So what do you call that, the original Maker, is it?
Yeah, so it's a bit confusing because there was never a Maker 2, so we've now got Maker, and then we jumped straight to Maker 3.
Oh, okay.
So this is Maker. I'm going to call it Maker. I don't want to make it feel sad to think it's been got another. It's not in charge anymore. That it's got one above it.
That's fine. Now, for some reason, I can't seem to see a very stable stream. I hope you're all okay and staying with us at the moment. I'm going to go over to YouTube while this one's cutting out, because I haven't been over and said hello to people too much. So I am going to go back to the YouTube comments. Fifi Stamper, as always, you're there with us. Thank you ever so much. She said hello to Lou and Emma from a very sunny and warm Scotland. Looking forward to today. Sunny and warm? You ain't here. It's horrible. Here we go, Colour Play, much nearer to where I live. She said, hi Lou and Emma from a cold Hertfordshire. Yeah, that's more like my weather. I actually messaged my husband this morning, and he, it's the usual sort of mid-morning, how are you, how's your day going? And I said, I'm so cold. And he said, last week you were so hot. Well, no, last week it was wet, the week before it was hot. Yeah. I'm never happy. Never happy. So this one is actually, it tells me how long it's got, and it's telling me there's still another 3 minutes. It's cutting out lots of little flowers at the moment. So what I've done so far, looks like we're doing very similar, cutting out layers. So this is like a shadow box card. So it's cut this shape out, and it's put score lines in it, which I'll fold in a moment. Then I've got another one as well. It's slightly different shape. As you can see, it's slightly smaller. So that should layer behind. Then there's this layer with the flowers, and then there's one more layer, which I think is the back panel. So I'm just going to cut those 4 out, adhere them together, and then go from there. I don't know what I might do from there. Could be anything. I might cut a sentiment. There's a few sentiments stored on here. There's not a massive amount, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see where I go after that. Who knows? How are you getting on, Emma?
Yeah, good. I am just folding all of my score lines. I'm just making sure I've got a nice crisp fold before I start assembling all of my pieces. So I've cut everything now, so I'm done cutting, which is good. So everything's cut, scored and drawn as well, where I've drawn the pieces. So I might actually just pop my machine to the side so that I've got a little bit more room to put this together.
They're quite big, aren't they? They're amazing machines. They take up a bit of space.
Yeah. It's not much bigger than a home printer, though, really.
No, they're not. Is it heavy?
The Maker is the heaviest. Yeah, I mean, if you did a few, little in the gym, I reckon you'd build up a bit of muscle with that.
Yeah, so you could do your bicep curls with it, could you?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go, offering you a workout at the same time.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, Janine on YouTube says hi from a very sunny Morecambe. What is with all the sun, people? Send some my way. And B492G, don't know your proper name, I apologise. Do you score on the right or the wrong side, Emma?
Ooh, personal preference, I do it on the right side, and then I hold up, let me get this the right way round. Yes, then I will first of all fold it into a valley before I fold it into a mounting fold to use it, but I will score the right side, but I fold the wrong way first to get a cleaner score line.
Right. Right, lovely,
really
thank you.
Personal preference, there isn't a right or wrong way.
No, so that's Emma's score lines. So she actually uses a scoring tool that goes in the machine. Mine are little perforated cuts, which is in place of a scoring tool. So I suppose that can be either way because that cuts right through anyway. So I've just been folding, like Emma said, as the machine's been cutting. So this is the great thing about electronic cutting machines, isn't it? You can be getting on with other things whilst the machine's just doing its thing.
Yeah.
I love that. So, and I really like, it's actually so much cleaner than die cutting. Less no arm work, obviously. We're not running big dies through the machine. You haven't got to worry about what size plates you've got. Because during a live, when we do have the die cutting shows, like a new die collection, we always get the question, what's the size of the biggest die? Because will my machine be able to take that size die? And then if it's like, say it was a big detailed panel, would you be able to cut that all at once? Would you need to start shimming it? But obviously with these designs, you haven't got to think about that. You can take any design, make it as big or as small as you want it to be. It's not depending on anything else. I suppose as big as your mat is, if you've got the right machine. So scan and cut, I don't know whether, I think this scan and cut you can only get a 12 by 12 mat for. I'm not sure if there is a 12 by 24 inch scan and cut mat, but that may be for other machines, like upgrades on this. I'm not sure. You'd have to look into that. I am using this as a complete beginner and only giving you the information that I know from playing with mine. I never had any full training on it or anything like that. Emma is definitely the cutting machine expert.
Yeah, I do love a cutting machine.
You do. You must have die cutting machines though.
Yeah. So I have a Cricut Cuttlebug. I mean, I know they don't sell that anymore, but of course it had to be Cricut on brand.
I've still got a Cuttlebug.
Yeah, so I do have dies, but I don't tend to reach for them as much, I think, because I can find what I want and make it quicker on Cricut because I'm just so used to that. I just don't necessarily think to grab my dies and go through them and find the exact one. I would probably just whip it up on the machine. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you find it.
I do feel like, I think die cutting, of course, still has a place and it's a different look, I think.
Absolutely.
And feel, so there are times when I reach for my dies, definitely.
Yeah, so I think I prefer dies for the more intricate cuts. You have to bear in mind with a lot of these machines, unless there's a new process out that I don't know about, that blade has to be able to turn round and cut small detail. The turning circle it's really quite tiny. They can do such intricate things, but I think for some things with a die you're going to get that nice finished beveled edge as well. So when it's like, I don't know, intricate swirly writing and you only want it to be like an inch big or something for the whole word, I think that's where I'd reach for my dies. But when I'm looking at big, not so much big, but you know, the structure of things, perfect. I love if I'm repeat cutting something on an electronic machine. I know Emma can do the same on her Cricut. You can just sort of, as such, copy and paste an image as much as it will fit on your mat, and you can just cut those out. So where you would sit and you die cut 10 of something to glue them together and get that chipboard effect, you can just do it on one pass of your mat through the machine. Just set it to cut and you've got your hands free. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where mine's really, you know, maybe I'm making like bunting and I want, you know, hundreds of meters of it all with, you know, little stars and everything. I can just set this off to do that and then come back, you know, later. Go and make a cup of tea, come back, and then obviously, glue it all on. But I've not had to sit there and individually cut out each bit or, keep on loading small pieces of paper into a die cutting machine.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, everyone each to their own, and we do die cutting shows all the time. Me and Natalie are very often die cutting, so it's really nice to have this one as a difference. I mean, it's being compared to die cutting a lot, but I think majority of people will have both, if not straight away, eventually. Just one more to do here. One more layer, and it's going to tell me it needs 2 minutes to cut that, and it does round it up, so it might be a 10-second cut. It will say it's 1 minute, and I've got the option on here, you can't see this, but I've got the option on here of cut or draw. I don't have the pen holder in and I don't have the pens on me, so it's going to be cut, and then it's just a play button. Nice and easy. I think they're all very simple, aren't they? I think knowing that majority of crafters, certainly in my experience, are technophobes. I'll admit I hate technology and computers. I think the crafting world have taken that into account when creating these machines, so they are as simple as possible. And we might have scared you at the beginning talking about programs or apps or sending things via Bluetooth or wireless, but if you've got anyone who knows anything a little bit about computers, the very basics, you'll be fine to set this up. And once it's set up and you know which buttons to press, you'll be well away forever for crafting. Let me see. So we've got Stephanie Gilmore has said she used her Cricut to foil the inside greeting in a wedding card yesterday, and it was her first time foiling. That's lovely.
That's another cool tool. I forgot about that, but all machines now can use a foiling tool. So we lay, it's actually pressure activated foil instead of heat activated. So there's no way your machine can melt or anything like that. Pressure activated, so you can now do beautiful intricate foiling. You just pop your card onto the mat, then your foil sheets, pop your foiling tool in, and it can draw or write that foil design onto your card, which is really beautiful.
Absolutely. So Marion Smith has said she has had a scan and cut since they came out, but she never got on with it. She couldn't always get the piece off the sticky sheet, and she much prefers her die cutting. So I think the sticky sheets are very similar across all the machines. There are other electronic machines, of course. You've got things like the Silhouette as well, which we haven't mentioned, but they all work in a reasonably similar way, but each has their pros and their cons. So what I tend to use is the mid sticky. You were saying the same way, it's sort of the middle tack mat.
Yeah.
The lighter stick is for things like your paper, your vellums, things like that, that would otherwise tear when you take them off of the sticky. So it may be that, Marion, that the cardstock or the paper that you were using, maybe cutting, maybe a little bit thin for the tack that you were using, unless you were using a high tack one, of course, which would be for things like, certainly on this machine, it would be for things like fabric and such, your stronger materials that are more likely to not stick so well. So it may be that perhaps you were using one of those. I don't know without seeing what you were using. I'm going to put this aside for a moment because I don't know what I'm going to do next. Are you already like done?
I'm just finished, yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. So I'm gonna do this really, really quickly and basically. So, Emma, have you got any any advice on accessories that we can use with the Cricut that you would absolutely recommend? If someone was popping a Cricut into their basket today, tomorrow, whenever, for the first time, what accessories would you say is well worth getting straight from the off?
I'm actually gonna grab a few out. So I would definitely recommend adding some extra mats to your basket. There's all different packs and different types. The Maker and the Explore and Air 2 and the Joy come with a mat. The new machines don't, but they can use a mat. But you will always, because they've got that stickiness, they will degrade over time. It takes a while, but they will lose their stick. But also you might want to designate different mats to different types of material, or just it's nice to have one handy. So definitely some extra mats. Then Cricut do a basic tool set which has all of kind of the must-haves. One of which, if you're working with vinyl and iron-on, which I know we haven't really mentioned today, you're going to want a weeding tool. This looks like a weird dentist's tool. It's kind of a sharp pointy end, and this just helps you kind of pull away all of the tiny pieces of vinyl and iron-on. So that's that tool. That's my number one, couldn't live without. I own about 10 of these because I can't be too far from one. I need one at every area just
I suppose it's a bit like me with a pokey tool. I've got about 10 of those hanging around.
Yeah, and it does work quite well as a pokey tool as well. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Two for one.
The other one is a scraper tool. My personal favourite is the extra large one. It's just the bigger version. But this is helpful again for vinyl and things, but also for cleaning. When you've got little bits on your mat, so I've got 2 bits there, but if you've done an intricate cut and you've got all those little bits stuck, this tool's really good for just scraping those away. So getting rid of them. Good for that as well.
Yeah, you may have seen earlier I was using a ruler to do that with. Not ideal, it probably will damage the sticky, but that's what I had to hand.
And then my last one would be the Brayer Tool. So this is that rolly tool I was talking about earlier that helps stick your materials down to the mat. So it's just a nice, it's similar to, when you do with ink, like an ink roller, very similar to
Brayer,
that. A Brayer, yeah.
Perfect.
So you just use that to make sure everything's stuck, and then you're just sure that all of your material is stuck down nicely to the mat. So those are kind of my number one tools, I would say, like must-haves. Weeding tool, scraper tool, Brayer, some extra mats, and then from there on out, it's, whatever you fancy. A scoring tool is a great addition if you're a paper crafter. But then, there's just all sorts of options of bits you can add on depending on what projects you want to make.
Yeah. We've had a question in as well from I don't know who asked, but somebody has asked, when is your camera project going to be on Design Space? Does that mean something to you?
Yeah, it's already there. If you search camera box, you might need to have Maker as your machine selection, but you'll be able to open it even if you've got a different machine. But it's there already in the project section. So just head to projects, search for camera box, and it comes up. I customized mine to add my sentiment there, and I chose different colours and types of cardstock, so I wanted to have it through. But yeah, it's already in there.
Awesome. I am just finishing gluing up all these layers, so all the scoring's done for me, so I just want to get this finished just so I've got something to show. I've got no sentiments on there, I've got no embellishments. I will get this with some sort of sentiment in there and everything, and then we'll take photos. Emma, do you mind before you go off, I don't know, and do what you've got to do for the day, can you get us a photo of that camera box so we can share it on Craft World?
Yeah,
obviously,
I'd really like to be able to see the writing. I know that you can't see that very well, so small, but yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so we can see, we'll be able to see that, won't we, on a photo? That'd be really good. Really good. I'm just using a tacky glue here. What else did you bring into your project? Was it just cardstock and glue?
Yes, I think so. And got the pen. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So how many bits? 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of cardstock, 3 of which were just plain cardstock and 1 was a glitter card. And then, yeah, bit of glue. And I obviously used the pen on the machine and a scoring tool to get that sentiment in there. And then what's cool about this is you could also add some photos as well. And then obviously you can post it inside. And then how cute is that for someone on their birthday to pull it out, and there'll be some lovely memories there.
Oh, that is lovely. So did you design that yourself?
No, so that's already a project in the design space. And then I just edited it a little bit.
Am I right in thinking, though, do you have your own designs in Design Space?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I have my images, which is really cool. So in the image section, if you search my name, Emma Jewell, they'll pop up. They're all kind of British themed, so British food, lots of, because Cricut's an American company, we don't often see, things like scones and roast dinners.
Cups of tea.
Yeah. So I made sure to add some of those, and there's like British seaside with, fish and chips and sticks of rock and naughty seagulls and stuff like that. So
oh, excellent. Oh, I would say I'll have to look for that. I am actually considering a Cricut. I have asked my boss whether she can just pass one down to me. Hasn't happened yet, so I might have to have a look myself. But I know that there's always offers, isn't there, on Cricut? Yeah. There's offers on, I believe there's an offer on at the moment, isn't there, on Cricut machines?
I think so, on the Maker and the Explore, maybe, I think.
Yeah, so definitely go check those out, because that offer, I don't know how much longer it's going to run for. I've glued things together. I just need to, I think I'd add a sentiment in the middle. If I was thinking straight and not talking, producing, directing and cutting, I would probably have stamped this before I put everything together. I put a stamp there, and then you can go ahead and decorate. But I made a shadow box frame, so that's really pretty. I mean, I see what you mean about it being neater, though. Everything just fits. Yeah. I know with dies things fit together, but it's just neater and cleaner, it seems, than die cutting somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, just a different finish, I think, isn't it, somehow?
It really is. Maybe more of a modern, contemporary, I say clean finish. But yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Emma. That's been, I think, I'm hoping for everybody that, hang on, questions before you go. Anne Golden has asked, how do you start to get images and projects on Design Space? Oh, there you go.
Your own images and projects, or like to get them into the library, I wonder. Shall I answer both questions?
Yeah, maybe a quick answer on both will be.
So for your own images, they would only be for your own use. You can upload them really easy. There's a little cloud icon. If you click on that, you can upload your own images. And that they will only be for you to use, so don't panic that you've put something up that's personal. That's only for you to use on your account. And you can of course save your own projects again for your own use, or you can share them with the Cricut community on Design Space, and you can choose that when you save a project, so then everyone can use it if it's a project you're really proud of and you want to share. And then for me, I'm just very lucky. I asked a very, very long time ago if I could have my images on Design Space, and that dream came true this year. So it took me a while. But
well, congratulations, because it sounds like you're very excited. I know I've spoken to you about it once before, and you got all giddy. So I thought I need to ask you again now. So hopefully, Anne, that's answered your question. So. Images for sale that others can use and buy. There you go. So I think there's a bit of a waiting list, but I think you probably have to contact Cricut about that, don't you? And let them.
After and all of those kind of things. Yeah.
It's a tough industry, isn't it? The craft industry, to get your name out there and things like that. But you know, keep persevering if that's what you want to do, Anne, definitely. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined us as well. Lots of people saying that they love what we've made. And do you know what? It seems we've been on for 55 minutes, nearly an hour. We've done a lot of talking, but they have come together very quickly, haven't they, for a 3D make. Because presumably with dies, it would take quite a bit longer with the wheeling and such like. So thank you. Natalie's had the week off. She will be back with us next week. Emma, I'm going to be back with you Friday the 2nd, so that's only a week and a half away. So you've got more crafting to do then. I don't have to craft that time. I can sit back and relax and chat. But thank you ever so much for doing that with us. Hopefully it's given everyone an insight into just electronic machines in general, how they are actually quite easy to use, and maybe if people are weighing up between a few different machines, maybe it's given them a bit of an insight. So certainly you can still message us through Craft World, through Facebook here, or through YouTube. If you've got any other questions, we'll monitor the messages. So if you've got a particular question for Emma that we didn't read out, that I didn't notice coming through, send it through and I will put it to Emma as soon as possible. So Emma, lovely, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next Friday the 2nd.
Yeah, Fab, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.